I opened the message and forgot to breathe. That is not an exaggeration. I actually held my breath. My lungs paused without asking permission. It was nearly midnight. I was lying in bed half watching highlights from the Lakers game when the notice appeared on my screen. One photograph. One sentence. I shouldn't have expected that from someone. It came from her, Alyssa, my boss's sister, not a meme, not a selfie, not a hey incorrect number. A photograph. Her, wearing a black silk robe. One leg was tucked under her, hair down, lips parted slightly. And the text, "Come over if you dare." I sat up so quickly that my laptop tumbled off the bed. My heart was racing, and I had not even moved yet. Let me clarify. 3 months ago, I got the job that most people in my position would kill for. Griffin and Rowe Media employs a junior marketing coordinator. Clean office, decent compensation, and opportunity to create something. My employer, Jason Rowe, was intense, high-performing, sharp as heck, and fair. He expected results. I respected that. I kept my head down, worked late, and did not try to flirt my way up. I was not there to make friends. I only wanted a shot. Then, during a team cookout at his Palisades home, I met her. Alyssa Rowe, his sister. Jason presented her casually as if she were just part of the furniture. "This is my sister Alyssa. Don't believe anything she says about me." She chuckled, rolled her eyes, and gave me a beer. She had that type of enthusiasm, as if she knew something you didn't. The room tilted slightly as she passed through it. I noticed. Of course I did. But I was not foolish. She was his sister, and he was my boss. The rest of the day we scarcely spoke. Only a few brief jokes and a shared smirk when someone spilled sauce on the carpet. That is it. Until later that night when I received a follow request on Instagram. That was her. I pondered for a full minute before clicking accept. She messaged first. "You survived the cookout. That deserves some sort of award." And that's how it began. We did not flirt. Not really. Not at first. Just joking. Casual stuff. I posted about how bad LA traffic was. She sends memes about business life. I did not overthink it. But every time her name came up, I felt something. 2 weeks later, we ran into each other at a downtown art event that Jason had invited the staff to. I was alone at the hors d'oeuvres pretending to understand abstract sculpture when she approached at my elbow. She continued to pretend to enjoy costly wine and strange art, pouring me a drink. I nearly choked laughing. Absolutely. I'm even practicing a thoughtful nod. We spoke for 20 minutes, just the two of us. Her hand touched my arm once. That is all it took. I was light up for the rest of the night. But when Jason approached, she stepped away quickly as if nothing had happened. Let's fast ahead. 2 months of silent, unsaid stress, random DMs, the occasional late night like, a few "are you still awake" texts, but no crossing the line, not till tonight. Now I was seated on my bed staring at the photo. I knew exactly where she lived, the Century City penthouse Jason referenced in passing. He made a joke about Alyssa living it up over there. She is doing her own thing these days. I hadn't asked her what her own thing was. My thumbs hovered above the screen. Type. Delete. Type again? Are you serious? I've finally sent. 3 dots then. Dead serious. But only if you aren't afraid. I was not scared. That was not the problem. I was losing my mind. I approached the window, the city lights reaching out below. LA was pulsing, humming. She waited somewhere out there. I could feel it. But every rational part of me screamed, "Don't. This is ridiculous. She's your boss's sister. This is a line you cannot cross again." And then there was another voice. Quieter, yet deeper. "Be more honest. This is not merely a temptation. You want her. You've wanted her since the beginning." I did not text again. I just got my jacket and keys. Her building exuded that chilly, polished vitality. High ceilings, marble lobby. No soul. When I walked in, the doorman hardly acknowledged me. She must have cleared me already. Elevator, 18th floor. I could hear my pulse in my ears. When the door opened, she was already there, leaning against the entryway, barefoot and wearing the same robe, her eyes set on mine, as if she knew how hard I'd tried not to come. No smile, no small talk. "You just come. I had to." She stepped aside, allowing me in. The air smelt of vanilla and cedar. Minimalist, clean. Her. She walked ahead of me past the kitchen and toward the floor-to-ceiling windows that view the city. Do you want a drink? She asked without turning around. Yes, sure. She poured 2 glasses of wine, handed me one, and finally looked at me directly. Something was there. Not just attraction, it was sharper, complicated. You okay? I asked. She laughed softly and gently. Am I all right? You're the one who appears to be about to faint. I breathed forcefully. I am just trying to find out what this is. She moved closer, close enough for the air between us to constrict. I believe you understand exactly what this is. Her fingers brushed my jaw. I did not move. Couldn't. I've been thinking about this for a while, she explained. You're different. How are they different? You don't play games. You don't pretend not to notice me. That apparent right. This time she grinned genuinely. Yeah, that's obvious. We stood there, wine untouched, the silence increasing by the second. My brain was attempting to catch up to what my body already knew. I wanted her, but I also wanted to safeguard the little equilibrium I had left. This is dangerous, I said. She nodded. I understand. Jason doesn't know. She leaned forward, her lips mere inches from mine. He does not have to. I closed my eyes. For 1 second, one heartbeat, and everything began to unravel. If I had left after the first kiss, things might not have turned out the way they did. But I did not. I stayed. And the kiss. It did not feel like a mistake. It felt like gravity. Her lips were gentle yet firm, as if she'd already chosen how the night would go and didn't need permission. My hand touched the small of her back and hers sank into my hair as if it belonged there. There was no hesitation or embarrassment, only heat and momentum. I can't remember how we went from the living room to the bedroom. I recall the way she stared at me like if she had waited too long and was not going to let me go again. However, this is not a narrative about sex. This is the story of all that came following. When I awoke the next morning, sunlight pierced her blinds like sharp fingers, and my phone buzzed on the floor. Jason missed 5 calls, 2 texts. Jason, 7:16 a.m. We need you to arrive early. Big pitch preparation. Jason, 7:38 a.m. Where in the hell are you? My heart sank. I sat up and reached for my jeans. Alyssa was still sleeping. Her arms were tangled in sheets and stretched toward where I had been. She seems calm. I felt like I was about to puke. I shook her gently. Alyssa, I have to go. Her eyes slowly opened and expanded when she noticed the time. Oh no, he'll murder you. Thank you for your vote of confidence. I put my shirt over my head and grabbed my keys. I will text you. You better, she responded, smirking. Nevertheless, it was worthwhile. I attempted to chuckle, but the weight in my gut didn't go away. When I arrived at the workplace, Jason was already in the conference room, pacing with a loose tie and a coffee in hand. Where have you been? He snapped when I stepped in. Sorry, but I don't care. Simply get set up. We've got 10 minutes. I took out the pitch deck from my luggage and went to work. The client arrived, the meeting began, and I somehow settled into a rhythm. We're talking strategy, metrics, and timetables. My mouth moved and Jason nodded. We even got a giggle from the client. But internally I was unraveling because all I saw when I looked at Jason was her. Her lips, body, and voice in my ear. His sister. That afternoon, Alyssa sent a text. Alyssa, it's 2:14 p.m. Survived me just barely. Alyssa, you looked great on my sheets. Just saying, this is risky. So stop, I do not want to, good. That's how it began. Nights at her place. Text messages buzzed under boardroom tables. Kisses were stolen in parking garages. I assured myself I could keep it under control and pull the plug before anyone noticed. But Alyssa had a knack of making everything blurry when she was around. She wasn't only attractive, she was intelligent, sharp, and brutally honest. She challenged me. She could rip apart a marketing strategy in 5 minutes and then kiss me as if the world didn't exist. And I started falling. Hard. A few weeks later, I returned to her apartment for one last night. We ordered Thai, watched an old 90s thriller, and laid on the couch entwined together in the kind of silence where every heartbeat feels like a conversation. I used to think Jason's world was uninteresting, she murmured, head on my breast, until you came along. Was that a compliment? She sat up slightly and glanced at me. This is a warning. What is this about? You have no idea how much it will cost you if he finds out. I exhaled. So we're going to stop. She didn't respond, simply kissed me like if she was trying to forget the question. But secrets don't last forever, and we were running out of time. Everything began to crumble on a Friday. We were attending a team dinner downtown. Jason's concept, quote, celebrate the new client, unquote. Everyone was drinking, laughing, and pretended to like one another. Alyssa arrived late. She wasn't even meant to be present. She entered wearing an off-the-shoulder navy dress that made it impossible not to gaze. I felt eyes on me as soon as I looked up. She sat on the opposite side of the table and gave me a short, innocent grin. Everything was fine, until it was not. At some time, the drinks became stronger and the conversations became more casual. Someone said something dumb. Alyssa told a caustic joke. I laughed for a second too long. Jason stared between us, his brow furrowed, and I sensed the shift. His eyes narrowed, not in fury but in calculation, as if he had just begun totaling things up. He said nothing that night, but when I arrived home, my phone lit up. Jason, 11:42 p.m. We need to talk. Monday morning first thing. I didn't sleep that weekend. And Alyssa, she became silent. No texting or calling. I was in a downward spiral. Did he find out? Had she told him anything? Was I about to be fired or worse? Monday arrived like a guillotine. I arrived early, shirt pressed, tie straight, tummy on fire. Jason beckoned me in and closed the door. No small talk. He folded his hands and leaned back. Tell me the truth, he asked. Do you see my sister? And in that instant, every lie I'd practiced vanished. I opened my mouth and nothing came out. I stood in his office, hands sweating chest tight and the air suddenly becoming too thick to breathe. Jason did not yell. He did not throw any punches. He didn't even seem angry. He merely waited. My mouth had finally caught up to my head. Yes, I replied gently, I am. His face remained motionless, not even a twitch, in complete silence. Then he nodded, slowly leaned back in his chair and tapped his pen against the desk. Are you serious about her? I blinked. What? Jason looked me in the eye the way a big brother does when deciding whether to kill you or keep you alive. Don't insult me with some half-assed response, man. Is this a fling? Are you really serious about my sister? I swallowed hard. I did not plan this yet. I believe it is true. Jason leaned forward, his jaw tightening and his eyes searing into mine. She sent you the photo, didn't she? That's how it began. I didn't respond. Jesus, man, he murmured. I trusted you. I brought you into the company. I supported you for partner next quarter. My knees nearly gave out. Partner. He scoffed. You think I didn't see how quickly you caught on? You're good. I wanted to invest in it. What about now? I need to question myself if the guy I vouched for is sleeping his way into my family. I am not. Don't, he snapped. Do not even try. He stood up and approached the window. I warned her once that if she played games with the individuals I worked with, I would cut her off. She constantly enjoys causing trouble. I felt my gut twisting. You think she's just playing with me? He stated, I think she gets bored easily. And you're a pleasant diversion. It struck me like a punch to the chest. I wanted and needed to think he was wrong. But something about the way she had gone quiet over the weekend had my heart skip a beat. She's not like that, I explained. He turned. Then I hope you're correct for your sake. He stepped by me, then opened the door. We are done here. Just like that. Alyssa messaged me that night. Can you come over? I didn't respond. Alyssa, 8:04 p.m. I owe you an explanation. Still nothing. I just sat on my couch staring at the wall, her name flashing across my computer. I was angry, perplexed, and ashamed. But more than anything, I was frightened to find out the answer to Jason's query. Was I just a game I went over the following night? I'm not sure why. Perhaps I wanted closure. Perhaps I still wanted her to prove him wrong. Perhaps I just missed her. She opened the door, barefoot, wearing leggings and one of my old sweaters. You ignored me, she replied, folding her arms. You vanished first. A pause, then I panicked. Jason cornered me Saturday morning and told me to finish it before it ruined your career. I breathed, the agony in my chest intensifying, so it was a mistake. She blinked quickly. No, God, no. Jake, none of this is a mistake. I laughed dryly and bitterly. So why did you go silent? Why did you allow me walk into that office without knowing what the heck was waiting for me? Her expression relaxed. She approached me, but I moved away. I was terrified, okay? Jason has always exerted control over me since we were children. I've never dated anyone he hadn't pre-approved. I figured if I separated myself, he'd settle down. He is not calm. He believes you're playing me. Tears filled her eyes. So what do you think? That was the question, right? I looked at her. The lady who had flipped my world upside down with one photograph, one kiss, and one night. and saw everything I desired and feared. I want to believe you, I replied. But right now, I'm not sure what's real and what's simply adrenaline. Her lower lip twitched. Do you believe I always send pictures and chase danger? You think I felt nothing the entire time I didn't respond? She stretched for my hand and I let her. Jake, she said, I am in love with you. And just like that, everything changed. Because I could feel it in her voice and the way her fingers wrapped around mine like if she was afraid I would disappear. This was not a game for her, not anymore. It wasn't for me either. I left the firm that week. Not because Jason forced me, he did not. He genuinely gave me a firm nod the day I handed in my notice and stated, You'll land on your feet. He was correct. I began freelancing then, took on contracts, and then launched my own little business. The first large client Alyssa recommended me, quietly and without ceremony. We kept things low for a time. No photographs, no office visits. However, it eventually stopped seeming like a scandal and became more like a life. Ours. Jason and I met at a charity banquet about a year later. Suits glasses of champagne and phony grins. He put a hand on my shoulder. She's still obsessed about you, you know. Drives me mad. I smiled. She keeps me on edge. She's never looked at anyone like she looks at you, he said more to himself than to me. Then he grinned. Do not screw it up. Not every love has a clean start. Not all stories follow the rules. However, sometimes the most dangerous beginning leads to the most memorable ending.